Hello. Sometimes it can feel as though like we are invisible or that we're moving through life without a purpose. Or maybe we feel as though things in life are meant to hold us back from achieving all that we want to achieve. It is as if before we even start the race, um, we were set up to lose anyway. I'm sure many of us, black college students, feel that way. With everything that's going on in the world, it feels like there's a lot of odds set up against us. It may appear that our white counterparts move through life way easier. They have a lot more benefits than we do. The high school to prison pipeline does seem to exist. The harsh numbers tell the brutal tale of the iron fist um, treatment of blacks by school officials, school administrators. The arrest rate for black students is 1/3 higher than that of white students, but that doesn't mean we should fall victim to those harsh statistics. We as a community should not make that become who we are. Sojourner Truth was, with the obstacles set before her, the obstacles that she was born into, found a way to overcome and to make her voice be heard and to make a difference. I am a college student. I'm also black. I understand the importance of attending college as a black person in America because it does seem that like if we don't have the right qualifications, we won't get far. Um, I feel that like we there's a lot of odds set up against us, a lot of things that are meant to like hold us back, but with only 42% of us who do attend college actually graduating, it's not a lot. Um, Far less than that of white people. Uh, we have our older generations, telling us that we have to do better. But I've seen all like I know that there's good that comes out of attending college as an African American in America. But there's a lot of things that we need to improve as a community to help each other and to help others. Um, as a member, as a college student, I know that what I'm doing in college can one day make a difference if I network the right way and meet the right people, I guess. Um, Sometimes it can feel as though like as a college student you're just moving through and you're kind of invisible because you don't know what direction you're supposed to go in and who to talk to and who to ask for help and who will really help you and steer you in the right direction. Um, but we can learn. I mean, our the college community, black college community, can sometimes lack civic virtue, which is defined as the cultivation of habits of a personal living that are claimed to be important for the success of the community. The life and legacy of Sojourner Truth can help to inspire civic virtue and build up our community. She was a former slave who overcame. She was a women's right activist, a black, I mean, an abolitionist, So she wanted the rights of African Americans to be heard and given. And she was also an itinerant preacher. Um, all of these things can play a part in helping to build up the black college community. Let's look at the look at the background of Sojourner Truth and how it can help install civic virtue. Sojourner Truth was originally born a slave in upstate New York in 1797. She was sold at the age of 9 for $100 with a flock of sheep, and she was sold to a harsh slave master who would relentlessly beat her. She said, but she escaped slavery in 1826 with her infant child, and she even sued to get her son back after he was sold illegally by her slave master, and she was the first black woman to win such a case against a white man. Now, I feel like just that part of her background can help build up the Black Lives community because that same willingness to keep going, and resilience is in us. We come from her, so we can't let things that are meant to hold us back stop us, because the fight that was in her is still in us today. Let's look at her life as an activist. She was a part of the Northampton Association of Education and Industry. It was an organization that supported a broad reform agenda. She built a platform with this organization, speaking at many conventions. Her most famous speech was an extemporaneous speech, which is like off the top of the head, and it was "Ain't I a Woman?" Now, it was given in 1851, and even though it is saying "Ain't I a Woman," you can put anybody in that, any other minority in that place of woman, because it's just talking about how like we all are human at the end of the day. We all do the same things. We all are capable of doing the same things. So we all should be given the same rights and treated the same way, and given the same opportunities. I feel like her speech really can help to empower our community and build us up and make us understand, like, if she's able to do that back then, like, we have the same, we can do the same thing. Let's talk about how she was an itinerant preacher. An itinerant preacher is one that travels around and preaches the basic Christian redemption message. They don't spend a lot of time they spend a little time in each city, and but the thing is, Sojourner Truth never stopped believing in God. She never turned her back on him. When Frederick Douglass has once said God had abandoned African Americans, she replied with, "Frederick, is God dead?" So this is like saying, like, with everything that's going on, and everything, all the obstacles that are meant to like stop you and make you want to quit, don't let it happen, because God is still God. He's still able. So keep fighting, because he's going to bring us through as a community. We just got to go back to him. Like, as African Americans, we never overcame without him, and that's still true to this day. She refused to abandon her beliefs, so like we can look up to that, because if we go back to God and ask him on how can we make it through college, and how can we make changes with like the police brutality and the things that sometimes Black lives are like forgotten. How can we make a difference? If we ask God, he will show us. Let's conclude by remembering how Sojourner Truth's life can inspire our community. Sojourner Truth overcame a lot. She lived at a time where being African American, you weren't even really considered a human. You were just property to somebody. It was like a burden to be born Black, and today it's not the easiest either. But we can look at her life and her legacy and be inspired to keep moving and to work together. We can't make it without each other, and we can't make it without working with white people. She overcame a lot. She was born into slavery and overcame that. She was an activist. She made sure her voice was heard, and she wasn't scared to say what was on her mind, no matter who was listening. And she was a preacher. She never forgot God, and I think that's the most important thing we can learn.